Ivana Stradner, you're in Washington there. What's the reaction?
So very, very great news really about Ukraine. And after many interviews with you, this is the one that I'm tremendously happy about, because indeed the bill has just been passed and the House of Representatives has approved sending $60 billion to Ukraine for its defense against Russian invasion. And this has been after several months of pausing and waiting for the bill. Indeed, this is the part of a broader, actually bipartisan support that passed actually $95 billion legislative package, providing security assistance not only to Ukraine, but also Israel and Taiwan. And in general, I think Washington, a lot of people in Washington are indeed celebrating this because people do understand that the war in Ukraine, it's also impacting American national security. So this has been truly a past time for the U.S. government to approve this. Next step is certainly Senate, but I doubt there will be any problems there.
Right, of course, yes, because the Democrats have a majority in the Senate. But tell me, what does it do for American credibility, which, having watched this bipartisan bill coming through, is it going to maybe bring more unity to the country and maybe greater respect for its lawmakers?
Many people actually worried about American credibility globally because of stalling this aid. And there is no truly security in Europe without American leadership. And this is a really good step in the right direction, especially given that this year NATO is marking its 75th anniversary, so which will be the key meeting will be held here in Washington, D.C. So this is truly a step in the right direction to restore American credibility, because Russia is indeed one of the key America's adversaries. And even though Russia has not attacked the United States specifically with tanks and jets and any sorts of weapons, Russia is waging also the war against the West. So I was very, very pleased that that Mr. Johnson have also acknowledged that and claimed that Russia is indeed, along with Iran and China, our key adversaries, and they're a global threat through what he said, through our prosperity and our security. So I do believe that this is truly a step in the right direction, because make no mistake, Putin is not going to stop at Ukraine. Putin has much bigger ambitions, and if Ukraine lost this war, that would be a dream come true for Putin. Also to use his might in his neighborhood, whether in any of the Baltic states or Poland. He has already threatened and tried to destabilize countries such as Moldova or the Balkans. Just take a look at what's happening in Africa and how Putin actually destabilized the continent and push away France. So Putin does not truly need to always resort to tanks and jets because he has much larger toolkit that he has been using, including information operations, cybersecurity, weaponizing migration, all those tools that are invisible, yet, very, very harmful for the Western security and prosperity.
But the argument against this kind of spending was always, hey, we have a border which is not secure ourselves. These countries are far away. Let Europe spend that money. Now, will this take some of the wind out of the sails of Donald Trump, or will he then, should he win the election, would he claim that it's part of his, shall we say, his hard work?
So Look, let's call a spade a spade. United States, we have a problem with the border crisis. But that does not mean that securing the border crisis means that we should not secure Europe. So this is a false dichotomy that some leaders, including Donald Trump, made in order to gain more points for the elections in November in 2024. And the United States is already immensely polarized. And I always, want to emphasize one of the most powerful Russian information operations campaign has been here in the United States, targeting specifically pro-Trump people and MAGA people to make sure that they do not support Ukraine. So whether Trump is going to win in November or not, that is yet to be seen. Nobody can predict this as of today, and I would not, exclude the chance, that he will take any credit. That's part of, his playbook, but that's less relevant. What is more relevant in case if he wins, that the United States does not fall for a trap for negotiations, because Putin is not ready to negotiate. He does not want to negotiate. For him, this is a protracted war, and he is just searching for moments to take a break, to reposition his army, to strengthen his army, and then to continue. Having said that, why also a lot of Republicans should care about this? China is watching. China is one of the key adversaries. It's not the adversary that we have. And China is watching. Our weakness towards Ukraine will actually embolden China. And for dictators, kindness is weakness. So there is no absolutely way that you can easily negotiate with them. So The more weapons we provide, the more aid we provide, it is also going to benefit our own security.
Now, you're advising on the defense of democracy. We've been talking about fake news and Russian intervention in democracies for quite a while now. Really, they're still interfering in politics in the US, sending out these messages?
Absolutely. One of the key problems is that we only focus on Russia's information operations around the election times, when in fact, Moscow is on it 24/7, 365 days. And make no mistake, one of the key things that Russia is actually looking now is to make sure to destabilize the West in 2024, given that the 2025 is going to be a pivotal year for Putin. So look, Putin is already destabilizing Europe before the elections in the European Union. There are already announcements about election interference in Moldova, and there are already numerous evidence that we see here in the United States for the elections in 2024 by polarizing our society and making sure that we lose our faith in democracy. There are certain points that Putin has been pushing. For example, the question of abortion, targeting both the far right and the far left. Also, the right to carry guns. There are certain vulnerabilities that we have that Putin truly knows how to push. Just take a look, for example, at a question of Texas secession. That's, one of the examples where Putin definitely didn't, win and didn't succeed. But he's not missing any opportunity, to destabilize our society. I do believe the closer we are to the elections, the more disinformation campaigns you are going to see. And not only that, I'm very, very concerned about the role of artificial intelligence and deep fakes, because that's something Russia has been working on for a long time. And my last point is that both Russia and China are now cooperating in the information space. So there will be certain topics that they are going to work together. For example, the question of biolabs that unfortunately still resonates with a lot of people in the West. So having said that, Putin has not stopped attacking the United States in the information space. Why? Because he understands very well that he does not need to send hard weapons here to destabilize and to undermine the United States. All he really, really needs to do is to continue to do what he has been doing for the past, for several years so far, and to make sure the West doesn't react. The good news is that this time around, we know Putin's tricks. We understand very well his tactics. And I truly hope that this time around, that more and more people will wake up to this invisible threat, yet very, very powerful threat that Putin has posed, not only in the United States, but also to the European security.
Well, in short, that was a great explanation of how the democratic process worked today to bring through that aid package for military assistance in Ukraine. Thank you very much, Ivana Stradner, advisor for the Foundation for Defense of Democracies.